Hi friends, and welcome to the My Aptera Journey channel. The purpose of this channel is to share with you the excitement of roughly 3.2 second 0 to 60 acceleration in an all-wheel drive 150 kilowatt powered Aptera Roadster. The thrill of going down a mountain pass in your all-wheel drive Aptera. But we don't have an Aptera yet. So there's some other things I'd like to share with you today. If you like this channel, please consider clicking the button down below to subscribe. And you'll also find a link down below to where you can get 30% off your reservation for an Aptera Roadster. So look for that link down below. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the financial markets, give you a little update. We're going to talk about the Aptera recent document and some highlights to that document that was posted to the Securities and Exchange Commission website. I'm going to share a personal experience with you about capping off, and I'm going to explain what that means in a little bit. And I'm going to share with you other Aptera news. So let's get right to it. First, a little market summary update. The Federal Reserve could weigh an historic 100 basis point hike after inflation was scorching at 9.1% in the year through June. And I'm of the opinion that the Federal Reserve is going to have to squeeze this economy like a boa constrictor. Why? The Federal Reserve has no control over the price of fossil fuel, or at least no direct control. The Federal Reserve has no control over the price of corn and wheat. And all of these things, the fossil fuel and the foodstuffs, the wheat and the corn, have been impacted by the war in Europe. And we still have supply issues in China, where they're still locking down cities under their strict zero COVID policy. Now, the Fed has already raised interest rates at least 75 basis points. So what's happened? The S&P is down now 19% for the year. And this is impacting the window opportunity for IPOs. And what we found is there's a listings IPO drought in the market. This year's 145 listings, including blank check companies like SPACs, have raised only $18.7 billion compared to 648 IPOs, totaling a record $219 billion at this point in 2021. That said, I believe Aptera is well positioned. There is a glut of money waiting to invest in environmental, social, and governance-focused companies. A glut of money. Aptera has the option of time to IPO in its favor. Indeed, Aptera could very well be what's called a unicorn, a privately held company with a valuation of over $1 billion. Let's turn our attention now to the most recent document that Aptera filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Big news, friends. On July 13th, Aptera updated their securities offering. What did we learn? One of the most important things we learned is the pricing structure of the offering changed. My notes show that the last round was priced at $9.20 a share. The new pricing is $10.50. What does this mean? It's good news for those that have invested in Aptera. It's a positive impact to you that have invested in Aptera. The new pricing essentially raises the value of existing shareholders by 14%, and you've done nothing. I like that. It also means that the demand for shares continues to be strong. And I like that too. You wouldn't want to price shares higher thinking that there'd be less interest in purchasing. No. You can price shares higher and people are still interested in this crazy efficient vehicle that's extraordinarily fast. So the demand in the company's stock is strong. Another topic I want to share with you, my friends. Since we last talked, I think the most interesting thing is, in May, Aptera announced a partnership with a company in Michigan called RedViking. RedViking is a manufacturing solution company that makes robots. It calls automated guided vehicles, or AGVs. The AGVs are basically platforms on wheels to move heavy parts around the factory floor. So those of you that have doubted and worried about Aptera going to production, when are they going to start delivering vehicles? Don't you fret. They're coming, my friends. They're coming. These automated guided vehicles, moving these heavy parts around the factory floor, can transmit information about their position, their movement, the vehicle charging level, and other diagnostic data, as well as identifying obstacles to something that's in their path to avoid collision. Aptera is going to use these robots to facilitate vehicle assembly by smoothly getting components where they need to be, with the added bonus that the AGV system is easy to adopt and expand as production increases. This is very good news. And we know that there's over 22,000 reservation holders, equating to about $600 million, at least $600 million of potential revenue. By the way, that share price increase I mentioned a moment ago, the company's value increased around $20 million, or at least the Class B shares, with that new pricing structure. $20 million of increased value in the company. Importantly, that partnership with RedViking tells us that the company is laser focused on production, which they should be. Now for kind of a personal story. I call it capping off. I pulled I didn't physically pull, but I had the methane, quote, natural gas home heater that I have out of my house. And I put a super high efficiency heat pump into my home. The natural gas home heater is gone. That's not all. I pulled out the methane natural gas water heater and installed a super efficient heat pump hot water system. My home is now fossil fuel CO2 emissions free. Hallelujah. In this time of crisis, this climate crisis, I'm doing my part. And I can also tell you that I'm very grateful that I'm able to do this. The first world, the industrialized world, is largely responsible for CO2 gas increasing 30% in my lifetime. So the first world should have the largest responsibility in slowing and reversing the increase of CO2. I am also grateful that I have the personal resources to make these changes, and I realize not everyone can do this. But I believe that every person has the ability to reduce, reuse, and recycle. The Aptera, with its extraordinary efficiency, will reduce my energy demand further. And coupled with its energy generation capabilities with integrated solar cells, my CO2 footprint is going to go down and down. So that's my personal experience on capping off. I actually had the gas company come and remove the meter, and I'm happy. So that's it, my friends. Today we talked a little bit about the security markets. We talked a little bit about the wonderful advances that Aptera is making, as evidenced by their Securities and Exchange Commission filing that increased the share price, brought up the value of the company, brought up the value of the shares that you may have purchased, and demonstrating continual demand for these efficient solar-powered electric vehicles. I should also share with you a personal experience with capping off, no more methane gas, natural gas, in my home. So thank you. And don't forget, if you click the like button or subscribe, that would be fabulous. And there's a link down below to where you can receive a 30% off on your Aptera reservation. Thank you so much. Stay healthy, do well, and charge on.